Hello, YouTube, Internet, iTunes, people, Minovsky Radio Podcast here once again with the Spicer, Side 7, and Joshua Gandamu. Pretty small cast today, but a lot of speculation as to how Build Fighters will end. Since we're kind of coming up on that, I'll try to have this posted before Build Fighters ends. How we think Origins is going to start and how we think that's going to go. And kind of what we've currently been working on. So not too much to talk about today, but we'll try to get through it. So I believe Side 7 and I have seen up to episode 23, which currently aired today, which is the day we're recording. Brandon has yet to see it, so we're not going to try to spoil it for him. But I think we all have a pretty good idea where we think it'll go. Anyone want to go ahead and start off?
Well, I don't think it's going to end at episode 25. I think that it's going to be kind of like Age a little bit in that, it'll get to 25 and then they'll throw it for a curve and go for a more traditional Gundam video, or Gundam series where maybe they have giant, model kits that are, basically they have Gundams being powered by Minovsky particles and are using them to take over, Reiji's dimension or whatever it is. That's kind of where I expect the series to go. I don't expect it to end after Series 1.
That is a possibility. Side 7, I believe you had some thoughts.
I don't know. I'm just, for the sake of being contrarian, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna say that they've set it up to end in 2 episodes. And there's just some clues that this is, at the very least, this arc is over. And maybe there's a chance that they go into, would be, like Joshua said, vastly different. I think they've taken the Build Fighter tournament to its logical conclusion. You might even argue they've drawn it out a little bit, but yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed if it was over in 2 episodes. I think it would have been a very good Gundam series for a nice tight 25. And then there's just some things that, and I can't really talk about it because it happened in the episode I just watched, that make me think that it's going to wrap up in 2 episodes. I'm not sure if they can really explain where Reiji is from and all of the Minovsky particle secrets, but maybe they just won't. Who knows? But I do think we got and hopefully this isn't a spoiler because we've got pictures of these kits over the last couple of weeks, but we did get a bunch of new kits introduced. Miss Sazabi, what else we get? Miss Sazabi, the Crossbone Kai, and new Fenichi. What's the last name of that?
Oh, we actually got pictures of the new Fenichi, or Fenichi?
Yeah, it's in the episode, and there's pictures of it on Gundam Guy, the Rinashida or something.
Yeah, it's something I did not know there are actually pictures of that in a high grade. That's super exciting. Also,
no, not high grade.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, not high grade.
Okay, I got really excited there for a second. It was,
I'm sorry about that.
The, Dark Matter Exia, I think is the other one.
Right. So I don't think they introduce all of these kits just to be seen. So, maybe some kind of battle royale. Who knows? Dark Matter Exia seems to be a fairly evil-looking mobile suit, so maybe everybody has to band together to take it on. Who knows? Maybe it escapes the bounds of the Minovsky particle machine, and they've all got to take it. I don't know. Just talking out of my butt here, but I imagine some kind of thing where everybody has to come help out because these designs are just a little bit too awesome to have them not show up again.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Yeah.
True.
And I mean, like Side 7 had said, we'd seen these designs for a while, and the Miss Sazabi, I wasn't entirely sure who was going to be the designer behind it, or who was supposed to be the pilot or whatever. But we kind of, in this episode, got a little bit clearer. We kind of know, I'm pretty sure. as well as the Crossbone Kai, which I'm really hoping that means pretty soon we're going to get just normal high-grade Crossbones pretty soon. That would be pretty awesome.
That would be.
I'm really looking forward to that if it does happen. But from what I'd seen of the Dark Matter Exia leading up to this episode, and we actually do catch a small little glimpse of it in the episode, it looks entirely different. Once again, another situation where the high grade, even, in the promotional pictures where it's, supposed to be professionally painted and everything, really doesn't do the suit justice, which is really disappointing. So hopefully,
not at all.
Hopefully we'll get master grades, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think if he did this kit with a really nice gloss coat or something like a candy finish, it would look amazing.
Yeah, it would look
because that's how it's kind of presented. It's cool.
But I kind of agree with you, Side 7. Personally, I think it's probably going to be the probably very shallow. They won't really cover the whole Plovsky particle secret thing and all of that. They'll probably just kind of gloss it over or give a very broad, vague explanation. The tournament's pretty much wrapped up, so at the very least, the arc is finished. So I'm thinking, this next episode's probably going to be the beginning of the final battle, or the final of the tournament, and then after that, we'll either get some more secrets about the Pliskovsky particle or whatever it's called, and the maybe that whole banding together to fight something else. So I feel like that is always going to happen in a show similar to this, where you've got a rather large cast with some pretty interesting designs, and having that capability already. So that'd be pretty cool to see. But as far as any kind of continuation, they may do a little short OVA or something, but I don't know that they'll turn it much higher. Just with Origin coming out this year, I think they'll probably want to leave it on kind of the kid note, have Unicorn come out sometime during the summer, maybe in the fall, to coincide with Origin's start.
I think, also doing a 25 show series is just better. Watching Age or trying to still finish Age, and it just feels so dragged out. And it doesn't really move very well. Where I feel this show has moved quite nicely.
Yeah, the pace has not been awkward.
Yeah.
It's been a little weird in some spots, but just because of the story it was telling. That it was pretty consistent with its action.
Yeah. And it's always been building to this.
Every episode. Yeah, this final conclusionary thing. Hello, YouTube, internet, peoples, all that. Due to some technical difficulties, we will have this cut into separate parts, but we were basically talking before my internet did something dumb, about what our thoughts on Build Fighters and all of that was. And Side 7, you had asked me a question. What was it?
Oh, just, which did you prefer, the Exia Amazing or the Dark Exia, or the Dark Matter Exia?
Oh, okay. I think the Exia Amazing is more towards what the Exia is supposed to be. The really light, fast, melee mobile suit. That's just kind of got a tweak to design. Whereas the Dark Matter seems just kind of overdone, so in a custom sense, it's a little better and that paint job is pretty cool. But overall, I think the Amazing Exia is probably more favorable in my opinion.
Cool.
What did you think?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind it. It's really hard to say. I like the Dark Matter. I think it's a cool villain suit, but the Amazing Exia would probably be something I'd be more likely to buy, if that makes any sense. I like it as far as story goes.
Yeah.
But if I was going to own one or two of them, I'd probably own the Exia Amazing. Were you able to catch that episode, Brandon?
Which episode was that?
With the Exia Amazing.
No, I haven't seen the Exia Amazing yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Exia is gonna be in there. Spoilers. Oops. That is a pretty good episode, though. But yeah, the Exia Amazing is a little bit closer to what the original Exia is. The Dark Matter is just...
Yeah, I did see that.
Oh yeah, it's like fighting the F-91 or something, I think.
Yeah, he had to pull out all the stops. That was the last episode last week.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. But, have you seen any pictures of the Dark Matter Exia, Brandon?
No, not yet.
Alright. It's like I said, it's a little bit more bulky. It is more of a villain-looking suit, whereas the Exia Amazing looks more like what a lead suit looks like. Especially in terms of its paint scheme. But, yeah, I mean, I think we've all kind of got a pretty solid idea of where we think Build Fighters will go. Whether it's going to end, or at least the arc will end, or it's going to carry into being a 49, 50 episode type thing, or 2 separate seasons like Double O was. But yeah, we'll just have to see, whether it's 2 episodes or 22 episodes. No, 27. But whatever, an amount of episodes, you know what I mean. 27, there we go. My math is great. Anyway, kind of going from speculation to speculation, Origins had been brought up earlier, and that should start this year unless it gets pushed back for reasons.
I am really looking forward to it.
Brandon, what kind of feel do you think they're going to go for in this one?
I think that they're basically going to... This will be the long-awaited re-release of the original Gundam. And, you know, I read that Origin was designed to be, you know, basically a more adult, more character-driven story, and, you know, kind of was like, whatever, you know, we'll see. But it is. I mean, it's really good. There's some things that are different, and, you know, those throw me a little bit, because, you know, it's different. Like, attacking Jaburo before ever seeing Odessa. You know, that's kind of different. But it's pretty good. It really is.
Do you think it's going to be kind of more geared towards, kind of like what the Unicorn series is kind of gearing towards, is the older, more mature, air quotes, mature, Gundam audience?
Hardcore original fans, yes, absolutely. But not just stopping there. You know, this will be the thing that will bring in an entire new set of generations of Gundam. You know, people who were always like, the original Gundam animation's so crappy, you know, you can't watch it, you know, plot holes and things like that, you know, and having no respect for it. But then they'll see this and they'll be like, dude, this is amazing, you know?
I'm hoping it'll be really good. I really doubt it. If they do kind of like what they've done with Unicorn and stuck mostly with the OVA, you know, changing little things here and there, and kind of the ending will, you know, vary depending on how they tell the story, that it should be pretty good, and I think it'll be kind of the good passing of the torch between, you know, Unicorn with the end of the formal calendar version of the UC, and kind of going back to the beginning of the important part of the UC. Side 7, do you think they're going to go kind of in a similar direction, or?
I don't know. What do they need to do? They need to sell model kits.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for that. They've got tons of Xeon suits, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got even a couple more different Gundams, so they're going to play up that angle, obviously, like they have with Gundam UC, or Gundam Unicorn 2.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, do we know it's an OVA, or is there any chance this is going to be a full 50-episode?
I think it's a full TV show, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I've heard that. I'm not entirely sure that I've seen it factually anywhere, but let me look real quick.
And maybe we'll get a full 50 episodes, unlike, the original Gundam that got canned early.
How many episodes did Gundam go to? I always forget.
42.
42. See now, with Gundam, and I'll admit this freely, I've only ever seen the 3 movies. I'm one of those people that just couldn't make it through like the full thing. So my starting on point is more Zeta. Zeta was really chronologically the first Gundam of the UC Gundams that I watched all the way through. So for me, Origin would be awesome. Like I could finally get on and watch everything. So I'm one of those people who hasn't really seen it. And just reading the manga, it's good. It's I would definitely watch a full 50 episodes of it, no problem.
Just what I've found so far. I haven't done a lot of research. Wikipedia is the first place to go. Go Wikipedia. But it's supposed to be unveiled in 2014 or 2015. So probably looking towards the fall of 2014, spring 2015 sometime. I would assume.
Yeah, well, I guess if it's on TV,
and it was
the only thing I would.
Yeah, they said it was going to be confirmed as a TV show. Pure speculation.
Cool. Well, Gundam usually airs October?
I think so.
Generally speaking.
Well, when did Age start?
So.
The Age ran from. I don't remember when Age started. I can't even remember.
I only remember because 00 started on my birthday. So I want to say Age was about the same time. Like they tend to start in the fall, don't they?
I think they usually start at least in the fall season. I think with Age and Build Fighter started in the fall as well.
And they're fairly tight-lipped, so we won't. Let's say it starts in the fall, we won't see anything until August.
Yeah, I would assume we'll probably get like a really short teaser trailer if they have anything when Unicorn ends and goes into the theatrical release. Like the first 5 minutes or whatever of Origin or something. So I want to say they did like the first 8 minutes of something.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime. I don't remember. Yeah, I think when the Banshee first showed up, there's like the first 8 minutes it got leaked somehow. And I was like, I watched that. I was really excited about that.
Really? I totally missed that. I wish I'd seen it.
But I think with kind of our previous discussion, if they do carry on any with Build Fighters, I think they'll try to overlap it with Origin, depending on how Origin's initially received. Their older fan base that is either kind of middle of the road or really doesn't like Build Fighters will be all over Origin. Just because of the change. Yeah. They're going to be from kids show to serious.
Going to annoy the hardcore fans about Origin. Like Chiburo happening before Odessa. It bugs me, but the story's well enough told that I can get over it.
Yeah. And I think Bandai Sunrise planned it out really well, where they were like, okay, we'll have Unicorn go on for like 2 or 3 years. People will like it, they'll like it a lot more because of the wait. And in the meantime, we'll give them stuff they probably won't like with Age and Build Fighters. So at least people who are collectors or people who've just, grown up with Gundam or anything like that will go into Origins off of a kid show where they really want something reminiscent of the original Gundam or Zeta or 08MS team where it's gritty, it's a war drama again instead of kids. But I think they'll try to overlap it. I think they've got a pretty good strategy of how to market to both audiences. Where they'll have kind of a kiddish show or a kiddish OVA going on, a serious show or a serious OVA goes on. So I think if we do see any more Build Fighters, it'll probably be an OVA overlapping Origin somewhere.
I will say, like, the success of Build Fighters to me is, like, it's got episodes that always appeal to Gundam fans, and like, so when he's reciting all of Amuro's lines and doing the right slap part, that's hilarious. And I mean, you wouldn't get that unless you were a fan of Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been those little nods to the fans all the way throughout.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. I think that's a fairly good compromise.
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I can understand why people do have problems with it. It's by no means a standard Gundam show, and I think Bandai Sunrise is onto something with that idea that in order to get more people interested into it and kind of make Gunpla a little bit bigger than it already is, in terms of a trend or anything like that, is that you want to tap into an audience who is already kind of halfway there. So you want to tap into the people who are already watching anime, so put in a bunch of those dumb, quirky things that popular anime in the past have had, and people will be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can get into this a little bit more. That it's not a war drama, it's just goofy, and, it's a Gundam model kit tournament, so, if you lose, well, big deal, you lost. It's not, if you lose, you die. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a great thing for what it is. And this episode that just aired, Brandon, I'm not going to spoil it, but just pay close attention to all of the background scenes, because you're going to notice a lot of nods towards older fans who watched Zeta, Double Zeta, and all of that.
Things like that, people appearing in the background, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And this one, it's really shameless. It's like, hey, here's a crowd of people. All of them look like they're cosplaying some Gundam character that was irrelevant. And fun surprise, had Patrick been here, we could have made him mad that Kika is in it.
Yeah, actually, I saw that and thought exactly of that.
I know, that's exactly what I was like, oh, I hope Patrick watches this.
That's hilarious because it's two things that he already loves. So
yeah, Build Fighters
must have been just over the moon.
And Kika.
Build Fighters and Kika.
He's probably gonna since it's St. Patrick's Day when we're recording this, he's probably gonna get really, really drunk and then watch it, and then he's not gonna remember it, so he'll feel good about himself later. Good old Patrick. But I mean, hopefully, barring any kind of weird thing happening with Origin, I think it's going to be kind of where Unicorn's going to leave off in terms of tone, as long as Unicorn doesn't bomb its ending. I hope it doesn't. We'll see.
I just kind of feel that Origin would be safer as an OVA as far as adult content sounds wrong, but as far as mature content, with people getting blown up and stuff. Not that Gundam's ever shied away from that, but it always seemed a little bit more personal in some of the older Gundam.
Yeah, I mean, even when it aired, say in the States for me, Wing was the first thing, and Wing, even though, is a little bit more mature than a lot of cartoons on at the time, it wasn't something that was super, that kids couldn't get into. And then, we had the original Gundam and stuff come on afterwards with, around the 08 The Mess team as well. So,
08 The Mess what got me into the original.
So I'm thinking that you're right. An OVA is probably a better idea. But
it's just an idea.
I mean,
just a thought.
In terms of getting the content out there, it's probably better in the long run. But I feel like they're really seeing the potential to make a lot of money right initially. That, hey, we could introduce a lot of model kits and it's going to play into the HG for all Gundam line anyway. So we can remodel some of that stuff. So hopefully...
Yeah. Because the songs from Origin are a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And even aren't the Zaku's from Origin, isn't there more variation between them? There's more customs, or am I completely off there?
I think you are. I'm not completely off. I think you're right. Because the normal Zaku and the Commander Zaku there, I think, is a pretty big difference as compared to what the original Gundam had, where it was, you had a Commander's antenna, essentially. And you maybe had a different color. But, I think there are different actual features on the Commander models. But I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. But I mean, regardless, we'll probably see a little bit of Damashi come out of it.
Yeah, but all of those.
What was that? Side 7?
Oh no, I was just moving my phone. Sorry.
Oh.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, Xeon suits sell like hotcakes. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
It'll do well.
You know, with Build Fighters ending, they're gonna throw as much as that just shameless plugging as they possibly can into the season ending episode, if that's what it is, or the arc ending episode, where just shameless advertisement, just do it. Just have a battle royale and just have every suit you can think of be in there.
So what do you think, one more thing about Build Fighters, do you think that he's gonna upgrade in the last episode to something else?
I'm really surprised I didn't see that. I was, because we had talked before about, seeing a freedom or something like that, but I'm really surprised we haven't seen anything to this point so far. I mean, the main kind of rival or antagonist has gone through 4 suits now. I think he's on his 4th. He had the Zaku Amazing, the Kemper Amazing, the Amazing Exia, and now the Dark Matter Exia.
Right.
And we've only had the Star Build Strike and the Build Strike, so.
And then seriously, it's basically the same mobile suit, so
yeah,
that's kind of bizarre.
And this is something else, kind of jetting off a little bit to the side on this. I'm gonna be a little bit happy when Build Fighters is done, even if the ending is terrible, just because I don't have to look forward to some more of their high grades, because they're not very good. Unless there's already a base model for it, like, say, the Wing Fenice, not the most solid. This Build Strike's okay, but the Star Build Strike just really... They really kind of cheaped out on it. They just remodeled the legs, and hey, the backpack folds over.
That's the strike.
It's ridiculous. But, hopefully we'll see an upgrade. I would like to see some form of freedom. I know it's a little cheesy, but I'm kind of tired of the Star Build Strike, to be honest.
Yeah.
It just kind of wears. It's just, get it over with, just finish it, please. Get the RG system out of there too. It's overpowered.
That could. The only thing I would be tempted by are the 2 things they haven't made, which would be a Master Grade Fenice and a Master Grade X Mount. Yeah. And we haven't got those.
And I mean, going forward, seeing more from the Master Grade line, I'm really hoping. They're pretty solid. I mean, they feel a little bit more like just a bigger, a little bit more complex high grade, but they do look really good. Even straight out of the box. So I mean, they put that remodeling detail and all that, especially with something like the Sengoku Astrea, where, it's very, I mean, you can tell it's the red frame, but, even a lot of the small detail has changed, and they actually, put that in there, which is nice. So hopefully we'll see that, and I really hope we do get another version of the Fenice, in Master Grade, and get the new upgraded version in high grade. That'd be cool. As like I said, as long as it's got a base to go off of and it's not, overly complex, then it's not too bad. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope we get a new mobile suit for Saiyan Reiji, but, just from kind of the last episode, it didn't really seem to go in that direction, which is kind of disappointing.
Well, we haven't had this one very long either.
This is true. I mean, and they have gone through, I guess, the Build Gundam Mark II. I guess if you want to count the beginning Gundam, but I really don't count that. But, other than that, I mean, kind of jetting towards, the only thing I really dislike about Build Fighters was, the kind of big thing about, oh, can you not hear me anymore? Do you guys hear me?
Here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Side 7,
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can now. Sorry.
Okay.
I think I turned it off by accident. My bad.
Oh well. Not a big deal. I wasn't saying anything important. I was just kind of saying, but, The biggest thing I think I'm disappointed with Build Fighters, actually doesn't have to do with the show. It is those high grades. Because I just got done.
I will say, yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I was about to go
I was
off
just going to say,
angle, so go ahead.
No, it hasn't sold me on anything except for those two things which it hasn't produced yet. So,
yeah,
that's I guess that's kind of a failure of the show. Like, it should sell you on mobile suit kits, but it hasn't. So, I don't know. Something to think about.
I mean, as far as the suit sales, I feel like they do pretty well. Cause I mean, they're, at least on normal sites that aren't, eBay, trying to find them is sometimes hard. But I mean, the master grades are really the only ones worth getting, which is kind of disappointing to say. Cause I just got done building the, high grade full armor Thunderbolt Gundam, or full armor Gundam Thunderbolt version, or whatever it is. And that thing is really, really detailed. And it's really sad that, I did pay, double what a normal high grade costs, but there's a lot of plastic in there. It felt like building 2 kits. It was ridiculous. But, I mean, it even came with its own, sheet of decals and all of that. There's dry transfer, but I would like to see high grades go more towards that, where they are more detailed. You don't have to paint half the kit out of the box. It's solid. I was really impressed with it.
How much painting do you have to do on it? Like any, or?
There's very few things. I mean, there are quite a few normal stickers to put on it, but that's mainly detailing the tiny little vents, which really aren't colored incorrectly on the mobile suit. It's just they give you the little red outlining if you want to do it. So you could paint that. I haven't. It looks just fine. The only thing I would really paint, other than in a little bit of detailing on panel lining, would be kind of the main shoulder cannon and maybe painting the inside of the shield orange, like the front of the inside of the shield, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it's a fantastic kit. I think that's kind of a good go-between for master grades and high grades. That, it does come with the same kind of, I mean, it's the same, no, it's actually a bigger decal sheet than the master grade Senkoku's decal sheet was. And you got the extra stickers, and you got the huge backpack, you got a stand with it. I'd like to see high grades go in that direction, but then again, you do drive the price of the high grade up, so I can understand why they're trying to make these cheaper model kits to get to kids.
Right, and they've kind of got the real grade sitting in between that price point between the high grade and master grades. So
yeah, the real grades. I need to build one. I haven't gotten to.
I think Exia is looking good, so
yeah,
that might be a good first one to get.
I'm thinking about it. When does it come out?
A month or two. I really don't know.
Alright, I might have to check that out.
Joshua, Brandon, you're a fan of 1 Year War, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what do you think about the Thunderbolt designs? Sorry, you might have talked about this before, but
is that the thing from Gundam Unicorn?
no, it's like a side story. It's either a side story or this a retelling. I'm not exactly sure.
I caught a mention of it the other day, but I haven't actually had a chance to look it up.
Yeah, I was interested in the kits, and from what you say, Cody, they sound pretty cool. But something about the design, they're very, very blocky.
Yeah, they're a lot more bulky. They look more kind of a mix between, the GM and the full armor. Their backpacks look like astronaut backpacks, essentially, just with a bunch of guns and vents strapped to them.
Yeah, I'm usually into bigger, bulkier Gundams, but there was something about the design, or it could have even been just the box art, where I was kind of this is a little bit too blocky. But I might try to get them. I'm not sure yet. Still on the fence about it.
And they're not super back heavy. I mean, other than, the kind of Char type one, the red one with the bazookas all over the back. That one's probably going to be pretty back heavy, but I know, I like the detailing in them. They are bulky, they are blockier. The GM and the full armor, probably the only ones I'll pick up. Maybe the just standard Zaku. I think it's got the weird backpack too, but it does look
Yeah, they
nice.
look neat. Yeah, they do look neat. And is it like kind of cool rubberized joints or something, or like
Yeah,
coverings over the
that
joint?
is probably my favorite part about them, is the joints aren't like a normal model kit joint where you can see kind of the connection point. It actually looks like there's cloth material or kind of something there.
This is going to be really nerdy, but do you remember that one scene? There's this stupid scene in the 8th MS team where he's walking through the desert and he has to like pull the cloth covering off of the Gundam's foot joint.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, that's awesome.
That's a little bit kind of what it looks like for you, Brandon, just kind of as a mental image.
Okay.
Yeah, and it looks more kind of close to what a realistic space-type mobile suit would do, just because you don't really have to worry about weight all that much. It's just strap as many guns and shields to it as you can. But, I mean, it came with a lot of stuff. And it even, I completely forgot about this, came with, I guess, I mean, I don't know any, like, I can't read any Japanese or whatever, but I guess it's kind of like a technical manual that comes with it, and it's got a little storyline in it, which is pretty cool. It's like a little comic book with some detailing. It's pretty rad. It's got
That is neat.
some, I can't even think of what this is now. Kind of like the initial designs of the comic books, like the original sketches and stuff. Kind of their storyboarding process. It looks like, for that much stuff to go into it, I really have to applaud them on that. As much as the Build Fighters line and some of the High Grade for All line have disappointed me, that is wildly impressive. Of course it is, like I said, double the price as standard High Grade, but it's still pretty cool.
That is neat. I might check them out.
I would, yeah, I mean, if just kind of an impulse buy, I would try one. Just kind of look at the designs first, see which one you like the most, and kind of go from there. But since I know Side 7 you are a little bit time strained here, we'll try to keep moving. Is there any kit or anything you're working on at the moment?
Right now, I'm working on the high grade Victory.
How is that going?
I don't know. It's going good. It's kind of cool. It's small. I like small kits. It's, I don't think it's perfectly in scale with like other 1 to 1/44ths, but it seems that they made an effort at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's about half done. I've got the Victory 2 coming sometime.
Okay.
It's sitting in, private warehouse right now. But, I wasn't into any of the master grades coming out for Build Fighters, so I thought I'd go back and get some of the high grades that I was interested in. And for $10, they're a fairly safe purchase.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, I
gotten,
might get the F91.
The F91 is pretty solid.
Yeah?
There's not a lot about the kit I don't like other than the fact that the stickers are a little ridiculous. There's not a lot of them, but where they go is pretty bad.
Yeah, isn't it like the entire back of the guns or something?
Yeah, half of the back gun thingies are stickers. And they don't fold well at all.
No, like the Bandai stickers have never folded. Mm-mm. And I don't know why they ever keep thinking that
they do.
Maybe this time they will, because they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and painted, and with a lot of, nice paint on it, especially for, the vents and the little Vulcans, on the chest, where you can kind of paint them kind of a bronzy color.
High-grade stickers can be pretty cheesy.
Yeah. That's why I was originally gonna get the Blue Harrison, because I like the design and everything. It looks very unique for a Gundam. But it's all the yellow is stickers, so I was like, no, bad idea.
It's almost like you have to accept that you're going to do a little bit of painting with high grades, and it's just a matter of how much. Like I remember doing the TR5 or whatever, the Kaplant from and there was just like tons of painting, and like all these little details all over the damn kit, and it was really frustrating. So after that, I kind of got turned off from high grades for a while.
Yeah.
But always a little bit of painting to do with them.
Yeah, and like I said, I ended up going back and painting most of the F91, and it looks really good. Like, if you put a little bit of effort into it, you can make it look fantastic. On just different, I know, I've seen some pictures of, Ed, or, Gundam Reviews V2, or I can't remember his proper channel name. His looks really good. It's really kind of a weathered, aged look, and it looks pretty cool. I went with more of kind of what I favor, at least, in terms of kind of like a metallic-y pearl type thing. And,
he did kind of a fixed figuration scheme, didn't he?
Yeah, it looked a lot like one of those.
That's cool.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I really like the F91 in terms of joints as well. Because that's another thing I've had problems with high grades, is like they'll just fall off at the waist, their arms just pop off. This one I haven't had that problem with. It's a solid little kit, and I really like it.
Cool, I might have to pick it up.
Yeah. Brandon, I'm pretty sure I know at least what you've been working on in the last, and you've actually got some lights in them.
Yeah, I wanted to have lights in my hangars for a long time, but finding them affordable, Radio Shack, wrong choice. eBay, not so great on the prices, but better than Radio Shack. And then my wife found me 15 busted LEDs with a power source already wired and everything at Hobby Lobby for $5.99. And so I took one of my old CD cases, like a CD case holder thing, and drilled holes in the top and turned it into a hanger and everything, and it lights up, and it's awesome. And so this should revolutionize my hanger building quite a bit. I've always looked at those pictures of pros and been like, man, if only I, could wire stuff. But I know me. It's never going to happen. I'm going to buy the stuff, and it's never going to happen. And if I try, it's not going to work out well.
That's kind of the situation I've fallen into. That after seeing your hangers and stuff, I went and bought a bunch of VHS tapes, for dirt cheap. And I was going to paint them and do all that. I just haven't actually done it yet. But it looks really, really good. Like, really good. A lot of...
I bet yours will be looking really good, too.
Is it?
Once you get around.
When I inevitably get around to it, it's kind of on the back burner at the moment. But,
I made a cool custom the other day.
What was it?
In space, they have a Zaku Recon type and a Zaku Flipper. And I thought that they should have some kind of Zaku Recon type for the ground type forces. And so using existing Xeon materials, I modded a J-type, ground-type Zaku to be a Recon type. I'll have a review of that soon enough, but it's pretty cool, I think. And I've been working on getting Father of Peace. My health it's slowly improving. It's very, very slow, but improving nonetheless. So with that improvement comes some filming and some editing. Not big stuff yet. Gundam Father of Peace Part 2, or Episode 2, Part 3 is going to take absolutely forever. But, still working on it. I'm well enough to work on it now, which is something 4 months ago I wasn't able to do.
And that is good to hear. That is really good. That is really good.
That's awesome. And what?
I guess today I hit 3,008 subscribers. Woohoo!
3,008? That's awesome. Also, I'm jealous, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
I actually thought I was going to hit 2,000 again. I guess I lost track. I kept waiting for, to hit 2,000. I checked it today. I was like, 3,000? Where'd that extra 1,000 come from?
They just kind of appear, Just happens. That's crazy. 3,000 subscribers. Whew. That's a lot.
I know, and almost 2 million views. It's crazy. When I started doing Gundam Father of Peace, I hoped that someday I would have 500 subscribers. That was my hope. I never hoped for more than that. That's all I wanted.
And now you're at 3,000.
It's crazy.
Oof. Man, that's a lot of subscribers.
That is very impressive. Then again, you do very good work, so every single one of those subscribers is deserved.
This is true.
Thanks. I'm hoping these new hangars will make a big difference as the series goes forward.
Yeah, and like I said, they look...
I had hangars. They didn't have any lights in them, and so,
They look really good. They are...
The review, for whatever reason, my computer won't let me log into YouTube.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and a couple times that it has, it won't let me upload. So I'll have to upload from work.
That's what YouTube's been doing, weird stuff as always.
Doesn't seem to want to leave alone.
Yeah, it wants to keep changing things. Or make you log into an account that isn't used ever. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah.
I know when I log in, it defaults me to Bright Slap Podcast, and it's like, that's not my channel. That is not even a channel I use. That's just an email address, but whatever. So I have to go in, switch account. Such a pain. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Google. Thank you.
They know what's best for
Plus?
us.
No. You want to use Google Plus? No. You want to use Google Plus? No. 6 months later, congratulations. You have Google Plus. Wait, I did not sign up for this.
Let's see. Well, at least YouTube still exists, though, I suppose. I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I've got someplace to put my nerdy rants about robots.
See, there you go.
So just be in a dark room talking to a wall. I guess this is healthy.
Yeah, see, there you go. Communication is key. Instead of, like you said, sitting in a dark room talking to a wall of action figures and model kits. I definitely don't do that.
Other people love.
Just film it and you sit there, you're just like, I did a good job. Oh, man. But other than that, just something else I kind of wanted to bring up, was this week, at least in kind of the gaming world, 2 big games came out. I think it was this week, or it was last week. One of the two. I want to say it was actually last week, because today's Monday. Titanfall and Dark Souls 2 came out. And Titanfall has mechs in it. Yay, mechs are cool again.
Woo-hoo.
Mechs.
You like?
So hopefully we'll get a cool Gundam game.
And I was like, where's the melee weapon?
See, hopefully, we do get some cool, mech
game, but one that
stuff
is
in the future.
Good and appeals to mass market, and then a good Gundam game, which is harder to come by.
I guess they're going to make
Interesting.
for a PS3, unless it's already out and I just missed it, but a side story.
I'm not terribly surprised.
Yeah.
But I found it surprising. I was like, PS3? I mean, I thought, you guys would be doing that for the PS4.
I mean, the market for PS4 is out there, and your sales will probably be better than PS3. But PS3, you do have that ingrained audience already, and it's probably way cheaper to develop for the PS3 than it is for the PS4 now.
Probably.
And really, for a Gundam game, it would be nice to get the full spectrum of, power and graphics and everything you get out of the PS4. But, I don't know that enough people would buy it to warrant it. It's sad.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, sadly, Gundam games tend to be... I always feel that they rely on license a little bit too much, as opposed to, like, a good quality game.
Mm-hmm.
They're always fun, but I have to think to myself, if this was Fluffy Kitty something or other, or I don't know, if this was Mario, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I like it because it's Gundam, not because it's a great game.
Yeah, if this was like a Macross game or something, I would just be, what is this? Why am I playing this game?
Yeah.
Poor Macross. Doesn't give me love. But, I mean, I feel like Gundam games, sadly, are gonna be kind of cursed to arcade-type games and Dynasty Warrior games, and I guess that's what sells well, which is kind of sad. But kind of coming off of Build Fighters again, we are a little, like, as a fan base, we really like seeing a lot of suits fight each other. So I can kind of understand that. But still, having a good story game would be pretty sick. And I really hope we do get one. And hopefully it's not just for Japan. That would kind of not be something I'd be excited for.
Now, did the PS4 leave behind... The PS3, what was nice about it is that they got rid of region coding. Did that still apply to the PS4?
I'm pretty sure it's not region locked or anything like that. I'm pretty sure...
That was ultimately why I picked the PS3 over...
the 360?
Anything else back in the day.
I'm pretty sure that's the same thing, and it's still not going to be backwards compatible, which kind of blows, but I think they're going to really have a service. I don't know when it's supposed to launch or anything. They're just supposed to go and kind of backdate and have kind of a full library of past PlayStation games from like the PS1 and up to where you could play them, but it's a digital format instead of disc based. So
yeah, the problem with that is they can take it away anytime they want.
Yeah, I even think it's more kind of like a monthly type service, kind of like PlayStation Plus, where it's like, oh, you can pay this amount and rent this amount of games for the month, or you can rent this game for so long or whatever. But, I guess it's a kind of a greedy way to answer backwards compatibility, but oh well.
But it's better than not backwards compatibility at all.
This is true.
You know what I mean? Like, if games get scratched, they get harder to find over time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. The console breaks.
And, I've had a couple systems before, and it's a pain in the butt to switch them around.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, I love my Super Nintendo, it's sit there and collect stuff, because I'd have to unhook the PS3, and then I would have to do this, and I would have to do that.
Yeah, it turns into a whole big thing.
Do it.
But, something else, just kind of going back to what we're currently working on. I kind of entirely forgot. I'd always wanted to get those EX models, because I have this fascination with spaceships, especially for Gundam ones, for the most part. And,
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
most of them are crazy expensive.
Yeah, I found a decent price on some pre-built ones, so I was like, you know what, I'll just repaint them and display them. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I've got the Archangel and the Minerva. Minerva's actually smaller than I thought it was going to be. That's kind of weird, but I'm currently in the process of taking the old paint off and stuff, and they're kind of coming together. I wish I had decals and stuff for them, so I have to look for those, but I really like that idea, and I wish they would bring more stuff like the Cosmo Fleet ships and the EX models back. Or continue them if they're not gone. Because spaceships are cool.
They were fairly hardcore, weren't they? Like, you had to paint them all and glue them and...
the EX model, at least for the Archangel, I've been able to take most of it apart. So a lot of it was snapped together, but essentially it was like, the legs or the front little launching pod things come off of the Archangel, and the side wings and the bottom wings come off. So,
Was the
the
last
main
ship
body
model we
and
got
the wings
from
and stuff
00?
are
Like, we
probably
didn't
glued
get,
together, but, and it
we didn't
was
get
all,
a
you had to be
male
painted,
Argama?
which sucks, but. Yeah, I don't think we did. We got the Argama, then I think we got the first season, or the second season 00 ship, I can't remember.
I think it was the first season because it was fairly big.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the box.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I would have bought Argama, or Neil,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
Neil Argama.
That's something, depending on, as long as it wasn't, the Kshatriya's pre-order, ridiculous. I would probably consider getting it, just because I really like that ship design. It looks cool. No idea where I'd put it, but it looks cool. But speaking of that, Kshatriya pre-order is $109 on Hobby Link Japan.
For the Dawn Machine. Yeah. That's expensive.
Yeah. And that's gonna go up when it releases.
Got one ordered.
Oh.
Well.
Oh.
I need it in my collection. I don't have to pay the heat bill that month.
I don't need it.
It's getting into spring. I'll survive.
You'll be in the hot months of the year, and hey. There we go. I was trying to find a way to justify that purchase, and now I know how. Thank you. But no, that isn't super ridiculous. It is a little bit, but that thing is huge, so.
Yeah, it's big. It's gonna at least be, it's gonna be much bigger than the Kasi Gundam. And that was, 120 or 119,
yeah.
So. I don't think they're really gouging that much on price. A little bit, but there's gonna be a lot of plastic.
Yeah, the thing is gonna be massive. Plus, you're probably gonna get effect parts with the funnels and other stuff.
Yeah, I don't have, I always wanted a Kshatriya in my collection, and I don't do a lot of high grades, so that was really the only option, unless you want to get, some stupid expensive resin kit, and then I would not, me and resin don't go together. So, this was really it. I'm kind of just waiting for it to come out, so.
Man. So I'm gonna have to, do that one, and then the Crossbone Gundam, or the X1 or 3 full cloth, or whatever it is.
Yeah. It looks really nice. Like the X1, I think it looks all redone from the first 3. It looks
like
modernized.
A new mold or something. It looks pretty good.
So that's another safe purchase.
Yeah, and that one's a little bit closer to a normalized price instead of being 110. Man.
Joshua, you got your Aries yet? Sorry, I keep calling you Joshua. Brandon.
No, not yet. I don't mind being called Joshua.
Sorry about that.
I got a bunch of different MSIA that I still needed or needed more variants of, etc. That kind of ate up all my money.
That's how it goes,
Okay.
Gotta complete the collection, so.
I've gone back to reviewing MSIA because I have nothing else, and I kind of made a New Year's resolution of one Gundam review a week, at least. So, next week it'll be the Impulse Gundam.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll wind up with the Impulse. Someday.
I sold my Impulse, actually.
It's cool. I like it. I have, all 3 of them. I'm kind of doing my favorite MSIA, and so, VO was one, and now first Impulse was the first one I ever bought after my initial run of collecting. I had it collected for 3 years and then got the Force Impulse. On a rainy night, my first night back in Japan, went to a Toys R Us and I was like, this is a Gundam. I know this. I'm going to buy this and take it.
This is a Gundam.
And I went back the next day. I was like, I will buy the rest of the Gundams. And then that was it.
I just see you in a toy store, just saying this out loud and exclaiming it to a bunch of shoppers are just looking at you
soaking wet and jet lagged because I literally just got off the plane. The train came into the town I was living at and I was like, there's a Toys R Us. I dropped off my bag and was like, I'm going for a walk. And then, I wound up there. And back in the day, MSAA were cheap too. They weren't like super expensive.
Man.
So Damashi have kind of, I think, negatively got us into this idea that we should be paying $30 or $40 for a mobile suit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah. It's made it easier for me to justify more expensive purchases, which isn't good. I need to stop.
Totally.
Like, I got one suit I've wanted forever and I never thought I'd find, the X-Year repair. Pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
I like the detail and everything. It's not something I'll probably ever play with, maybe more than once, because I'm gonna pose it and I'm never gonna touch it again. Because it's a little, I think it's probably just mine that's a little flimsy in some areas. Not like MSIA flimsy, but a little bit difficult to pose. Just kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad as the Brave, but.
The Brave was like one of the most disappointing robot Damashi.
I was really stoked to
honestly
get that, and I got it for a good price. I was like, yeah, Brave. And I opened the box and tried to stand it, and I was like, no, Brave.
You don't stand, you don't fly, you don't do anything.
I know, it's, ugh.
It doesn't pose well in any kind of flight pose, I found. I really got frustrated with that one. It's a cool design. Like I liked it in the movie quite a bit, but.
The beam saber, the gun, the legs, the feet, the backpack, the head, the arms. Yeah. It is currently towards the back of one of my bottom shelves, so I can't see it, so I'm not reminded.
It is in a box for me. My GNXs are all up on the shelf though. I still really like all of those designs. Brave, not so much.
Brave, too flimsy, in my opinion. But something I do have to give a shout out to, and if Patrick was here, he'd probably ridicule me for it a little bit. Shout out to Patrick. But Ami's pre-owned section has been filling my Code Geass collection up a lot more, and I applaud them for that. Yay, me. But, what were you saying, Brandon? I think I cut you off on accident.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. The Code Geass units are pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like them. I like the designs for most of them. I am trying to talk myself out of getting more of them, because I keep seeing them. I'm just kind of trying not to impulse buy them. So I don't fall into the impulse buy of, hey, I'm gonna buy this, this, and this, because it's, like half off of what it should typically be if I could find it anywhere anyway. And then, like, a lot of money later, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yep. We've all been there.
That happens.
Well, I've been there. Definitely.
Yeah, it happens. It's a terrible feeling until you get the stuff, and then you play with it for 5 minutes, and then you're like, oh.
I went to a comic book store on the weekend, which is rare that I actually get anywhere outside of my sphere except for my house and work. So I went to the comic book store and I bought like a ton of stuff, like a ridiculous amount of stuff. And I'm walking up to the counter with all of my crud. And the young lady behind the cashier, like, was obviously judging me because it was nerdy stuff. Like, it was like a transformer and a starship, like this 2-foot long starship, and a DS9 replica, and just like the nerdiest of nerd stuff. It wasn't even anything cool. And she was like visibly judging me harshly, and I was like, what?
You work in a comic book store, come on. You should be trained on how to do this.
You're not going to shame me into not buying all this stuff.
Anyway.
And then the bill was rang up, and I went, oh, I shouldn't have bought any of this. This was stupid.
That's what, not to give too much away, not that it even matters, but, I work for a rather large electronic retailer. I'm assuming most people within 3 guesses could figure out who it is. But, when we're super slow, I'll go and, like, price check the stuff, and just to see, how much a discount I would get. So I was going through our anime the other day, I realized we didn't have any good anime, so I was like, I'm gonna have to go somewhere and buy a bunch of just box sets that I'll never watch, and then I was like, that's a terrible idea.
Oh, wait, because otherwise it always costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah, no, box sets are crazy unless they're, like, anime that's super old, that wasn't super popular. You know, just disappointing, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything anyone else wants to talk about? I cannot think of another topic.
Star Trek ships.
How are those?
No, I'm kidding.
I've actually seen the reviews of those. They look pretty cool. Like, I'm not a Trekkie or anything, but I really do like spaceships.
That just goes right back to, I think, middle school or something for me, like when Star Trek The Next Generation started. That was it. So I've always liked the ships. I always liked the design of military ships in space, like Star Wars, Star Trek, Gundam, whatever. So, I guess now, apparently, when I'm old is when they're making all the cool stuff, so I kinda have to get it.
Which works out.
I feel obliged to get the Star Trek stuff.
Which works out, because you most likely have enough expendable income to spend on all their ships.
You'd think so, but between Gundam and this, and it's good timing too, since master grades aren't really catching my eye, so it's something else to kind of divert that need to collect.
So then just start making more Gundam spaceships. That's something that needs to happen. Bandai, get on it. Make my Taurus as well. I can get pissed if I don't have my Taurus.
A great snap together version, I would build those in a heart.
Oh yeah, no, if they had snap together versions, as long as I don't even care what scale of just Gundam ships, I would be super down. I don't even care. As long as...
I like the Cosmo Fleet, but they're massive expensive.
Yeah, Cosmo Fleet, you're looking $20-$30 for a ship. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And they were like $9 for the blind pack.
Yeah.
And it was like, or a box.
Yeah, and then you get, you get the Mother Vanguard, and you're like, well, I didn't really want this. Sad face. Mother Vanguard. Ugh. Are you guys still there? Okay,
Still
good.
here.
Side 7 may have cut out, I can't tell.
I just hit my mic button again because of the
There we go. I was like, did I do anything there?
Since I like what's your favorite ship questions, or what's your favorite?
That's just my phone telling me I have another call.
Oh, yep. Do you have another call, Brandon?
I don't know. I think it was you guys making a beep noise.
Oh, it may have been.
I think so. Cause it's
Okay.
up.
Alright. Cool.
I feel bad for me.
Anyway, Side 7, you were gonna ask what our favorite ships were, I assume.
I like what's your favorite questions because they're so simple, but like, UC, what's your favorite ship? Do you have one?
My favorite what?
Favorite ship from the UC. Like White Base or...
Yeah, I think I like that big red one that, Char ends up leaving on in the end of the UC, the ship that Cassilia had.
Oh,
Okay.
Rulula? Rulula?
Ruolo? Yeah.
It's got a W in there somewhere, I think.
It's cool though. I like it.
I like it.
Good stuff.
Are you talking from Zeta Gundam or something else?
The original UC. Sorry, 1 Year War.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I know.
Okay, I see what you're saying, yeah. I got myself confused.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about, but I might not. I might be thinking of, Haman Karn's little ship. Huh.
Interesting.
Cody, Spicer, what do you think?
This is gonna be kind of a cheap answer, but, just because we've seen it most recently in animation, it's a tie between the Rock High Loom and the Nail Origama.
You literally took my
Ah,
answers
yeah, Unicorn.
in the same order.
Unicorn Gundam, yay. And the Rock Hylium's a cool, interesting design. It's really disappointing is, looking at the Klopp class and seeing what happens in F91 with them, but...
Yeah. I think, honestly, F91 is cool with the designs, but it's a very depressing
Yeah,
series.
it is. Like, watching it is difficult.
I really like the F91 movie though, because it gives a better look at what a colony attack would really entail.
Yeah.
It actually feels like the colony is under attack as you watch that movie.
True. It was good there. It's one of those things like what could have been had it been like a full-length series, but it had some very cool aspects to it. I like the fact that the Federation was like totally in decline and hadn't really been doing much of anything since forever.
We see the real incompetency of the Federation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At its worst.
Yeah. They're pretty incompetent.
I don't know where V Gundam comes in there, but wouldn't surprise me if it comes afterwards.
Well, I always felt like V Gundam was, like, I know it's UC, but it always felt like it was a different universe. Like, it didn't feel like Federation. It didn't feel like UC at all. Maybe that's just me and wishful thinking, but it didn't, for me.
It kind of brings, like, just like when I see stuff from, say, like Crossbone, where they've got the kind of the black and red Victory Gundams, I guess, because it happens pretty close to the same time Victory does. Then I'm like, whoa, I forgot Victory Gundam did in this timeline. So it's really that weird disparity that, we go from F91 where the Federation still somewhat exists, as a major power. And then we go into Victory where they're kind of not there in an impactable form. And then we go back to Crossbone and it's like, wait, guys, this is the same timeline? What is this? But,
That's why I kind of feel like they should just go ahead and make a Crossbone OVA.
They really need to.
Or whatever.
No.
And just to kind of flesh out the UC a little bit more and move it away from that very depressing ending of Victory Gundam. Maybe into something that's a little bit more viable. Heck, maybe even retcon Victory Gundam out of it, if that helps. Because I think Victory Gundam really paints the UC into a corner. Like, there's no real getting better in that universe.
Yeah.
It's fairly dystopian.
And there's not a lot of room they have left to go in the UC. I mean, kind of the most viable options at the moment for future animation that's not Origin is Hathaway's Flash or Crossbone Gundam. I mean, they're kind of stuck. Yeah.
And they don't have to go back to the UC, but I like it. I'm fairly comfortable with going there once in a while.
I mean, I would like to see an alternative universe probably after Origin, whenever, though depending on, if it's a TV show, but, going back to it every now and then it really is the basis of where Gundam, I guess, is grounded.
Yeah, and it's the technology, it's, as far as the real robot stuff goes, it's the technology that I like the best.
Yeah,
it is 00. I like 00's technology too, but...
Yeah, I mean, most the alternative universes just kind of throw, like, technology out the window. Like, G Gundam, it doesn't exist. It's just like, hey, Dragon Ball Z Gundams. And then, I mean, even Seed and Destiny and Wing are like, here's some really overpowered Gundams. They don't make any sense as to why they're this strong. Go ahead.
I read a post on Facebook. It was like, how does Ultron shoot flame in space?
Because he can.
Through the power of don't think about it.
The power of don't think about it. And
I always liked that they took these ground pounder Gundams up into space. We're like, uh-oh, they don't move so good no more. This might have been a mistake.
This doesn't work well, guys. This was a bad plan. This wasn't good.
And that's actually something that's always bugged me about Gundam design, is that they're designed to work in space and on land. And it's like, really?
Doesn't make any sense.
Why would you ever design something to do that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just make two? And
I mean, surely the cost, I mean, a GM is, cheap as compared to probably a Zaku in production cost at least. That's why there's a million of them. But that still probably could have been way cheaper if you just, souped up a ball in space and then made kind of stuff from, the early 00 days where they just have, a chain gun on the nose and they walk around. You think that's probably where it would have gone, but nope.
Mm-hmm.
That project.
But then again, that's what the goof was, I guess. The goof was basically just a stripped down what if we didn't have any space stuff on this. How good could it be for the ground? So they did look at that.
Yeah, they did. They did. But, I was going to say something. I don't even remember what it was now. Oh. I don't know where this came up, in my mind. I don't know how this happened, but, the Guardian of the Galaxy trailer and a lot of the Marvel movies coming out recently, a lot of people like them. And, for comic book fans, especially with Iron Man 3, people who liked Iron Man comics thought it was kind of garbage for the most part. I mean, it's a good movie, but, which kind of brings me to the idea of, and I may have asked this before on podcasts, I can't even remember, but in the reality that, if a live-action Gundam movie ever did get made, especially with, rumors of it around Pacific Rim, would you be okay if it was a little bit more like how the Marvel movies try to portray it, where it's a lot more generalized and broadened so more people can get into it? If that makes sense.
What was the question again?
Kind of like with Transformers. That's probably the closest example. That, it's not really a specific Transformers storyline. It's just kind of a generalized, we'll kind of reinvent Transformers around this generalized, cultured idea of, hey, let's get it out to as many people as possible, make it popular. Yeah, words. If they did that with a Gundam movie where it wasn't, it was a lot more broad, a lot more generalized, kind of not even something that was solid Gundam story we've had before. How would, do you think you would like it, or, kind of, if that makes sense?
Like if they had to cut down the characters, they have to make compromises.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of what you're asking.
Essentially, yeah. That your main cast.
Go
ahead.
No, I just think Gundam is fundamentally flawed in the same way that something like Akira is flawed for Western big screen treatment. I think there are just some themes and some characters and stuff that don't necessarily translate that well. And it's those themes and those characters and those relationships that are very central to Gundam. I might be, I'm trying to, I guess, I don't know, maybe over-talk it. But I don't think, unless you just have giant robots battling out in space, and one is a Gundam and one is a Zaku, and that's your connection.
And realistically, that's probably what it would be.
Yeah.
Kind of like, Brandon, we had talked about this before, of that old Gundam game that had that live acting action in it, or the live acting in it, Kai was a big Indian guy or something.
What?
Do you remember this, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that someday.
Essentially, they did make those compromises where they did change roles around and stuff like that. It essentially told the original 0079 storyline as if you were Amuro, but, what was it? It wasn't Ensign Bright. He was like, I'm your senior commander, something Bright, or something. And it just sounded so dumb, and Bright wasn't at all like how Bright was supposed to be. That's how I envision live-action Gundam movies would be. And that kind of disappoints me. I need to find this clip and send you a link, Side 7, because it's... priceless.
It's tempting, the idea of having a live-action movie. The truth is, they just ruin it. They just would. It's better off to let Bandai do what Bandai does. I mean, look at Gundam F91. Absolute crap. Or not F91, sorry. F91 was awesome.
G-Savior?
G-Savior, that's right. Oh.
I'm just gonna go ahead and never watch G-Savior. I think I'm gonna be okay.
Oh, is this it? Is this it? Oh, no, that's actually good stuff. Dang it.
Like, it's such a... Has anybody kept... Okay, well, first of all, did you read Akira or watch Akira or like it, or I don't know?
That is a negative Ghost Rider. I did not.
Oh.
Sadly.
Because you should. You should do that sometime. Maybe not the manga. The manga is amazing. I went to a exhibition in Japan where they had every single page, like the hand-drawn page of the manga, like all laid out. And it was like 4 or 5 rooms of just the Akira manga. It was amazing. But I would highly suggest reading it sometime when you have the time. It's one of the best. Anyway, they're trying to make it into a Hollywood movie, obviously. And the guy attached to direct it, I'm gonna paraphrase him here, but he said, like, I'm looking for very good characters, which is something the original did not have. Culturally, Japanese tend to have very flat characters in manga and anime. And I was like, what? When was that ever when?
Yeah,
when?
that guy, if that got out, like, really publicly, he would not have, no one would see that movie.
Well, it was on IGN. Like, I mean, he said this to people.
Oh my.
And it's like, yes, because Japanese anime is known for not having very compelling characters. Or iconic stuff. It's just, so I feel like any Gundam stuff would be done by somebody who didn't get it or understand it, and it would be
Yeah, no, it would be like I said, Transformers is probably the easiest comparison of, let's put someone who's good with blowing stuff up in the position and just go from there. And it would be visually entertaining, but for Gundam fans, it would be a really empty, hollow shell. And,
yeah.
Which is really weird, because, like, I guess that, like, anime fans in the West don't really grasp that, we're like, I want an Attack on Titan movie or something like that, and it's like, no, you really don't.
Is that worth getting into, that show? Is it good?
As much hype as surrounded it, I would try to not listen to the hype and just try to watch it for what it is. Okay. Now, saying that, compared between it and, say, the hype surrounding Sword Art Online, it is considerably better. But it still has those really tropey things of, I'm the main character who's angsty, and there's the emotionless chick here who kind of protects me, and then I've got this really whiny, girly friend dude who's super smart. But the setting and the really dire scenes they put out are really good. So yeah, it's worth getting into, but at the same time, like, the more it progresses, and kind of the pacing is a little weird, but other than that, I mean, it's a solid show. It's one of the things, like, as an overall piece of, I guess, artwork, is the closest word I can get to it. It's good, because it's visual design, it's storytelling, it's real sense of humanity's on the brink of extinction is really good. That being said, I really, really like Kill la Kill, which is probably the stupidest show I've ever watched. So, take that with a grain of salt.
Well, sometimes stupid works.
Kill la Kill is like, there's this guy, I was walking in the back of where I work, and he was listening to the Kill la Kill soundtrack, and I recognized it, and I got so excited, and I talked for like 20 minutes about it, and I was like, what am I doing with my life?
That was me at the comic book store the other day with all my stuff. Just walking out, I'll take 2 bags of, don't look at me.
Don't look at me with your shame-filled eyes. Don't judge me.
It has lights and sounds. It's a great Star Trek ship. Everybody should like it.
Guys, it has lights And sounds.
sounds.
How can you not love that? Oh, good times. But yeah, no, I would try, I would say go 5 episodes in and just see how you go from there. Like I said, the pacing is kind of funky, but when you get, kind of like Cowboy Bebop was back in the 90s, like, you had the really weird episodic parts, and then when you got to the good story parts, it was really good.
Speaking of models, I've always wanted the swordfish.
That thing is
from Cowboy
super
Bebop.
hard to find.
Yeah.
And when you do find it, it's
Yeah.
like, what? That's a price?
Cool ship.
Sorry, Brandon?
I said that was a very cool ship.
It was awesome. Yeah. I liked like all the designs in Cowboy Bebop. I really enjoyed. I would take Faye Valentine's little eyeball ship too. But the swordfish was just an awesome design.
Speaking of Cowboy Bebop.
But
Oh, go ahead, Side 7.
No, I was saying nothing.
Okay. Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy, I've not watched it yet, but if it had mechs in it, I would watch it. 'Cause I think it's the same guy who wrote Cowboy Bebop and the guy who directed something important. I can't remember, but...
Wasn't Cowboy Bebop somebody connected with 8th MS team or same director?
I want to say. Because it kind of had that same... It may even have been kind of like in the artistic kind of way, maybe something like that. It may have been director though, because you could kind of get a little sense of it from it as well. You were like, hey, that's kind of cool. But
speaking of stuff with mechs in it, and I'm going to ask you now before I forget, that Blaze Raving you don't like. It's not very good? Damn it. I stared at that thing in like stores in Japan going, it's blue and it has a samurai sword, and there's a red one with the samurai sword. I like blue and red mobile suits, and I like samurai swords. I should probably get this. And
if you get it, like, super brand new, maybe, but that, Damashi does Gundams good, and for the most part, like most of the Code Geass figures and the Fafnir figures, but a lot of the other lines it really does in a weird way, because it's not really sure how to handle the articulation. So that Blaze Raven, like, at least mine, and it may have been that, someone else may have had it before me. I can't remember if I got it. Yeah, I think I got it secondhand. It was complete in box and everything, but the feet pop off all the time. You kind of, when you're turning those shoulder vent things, you get some plastic stress on, like, where it actually turns, which is terrifying. So if it's something, you were gonna pose once and leave it alone, that would probably be the best, especially if it's like an aerial pose, or if you can bend the feet enough, just be very careful. But I mean, aesthetically, it's really cool looking. And, if it had good articulation, it'd be great, but it just doesn't.
That's really too bad. I like the design of the suit quite a bit, but that's too bad.
It's pretty cool, but...
And those Fafnirs have always appealed to me too. Just aesthetically, they look cool. Don't know anything about them.
They're pretty solid. Once again, unless you like kind of weird articulation, it's probably something you'll pose once and not touch. Cause it's not even close to what a standard articulation, just cause how the joints, I guess, are supposed to work. But they're really cool, and I really like their designs. Right now they're both standing with no weapons in hand. They're just kind of standing there looking bulky, but they still look pretty formidable. They look pretty cool. Looks like if you got in a fist fight with it, it'd be pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool. And Damashi does some lines good, some lines not as good. Sad day. Kind of like the MSA line back in the day did Gundams, for the most part, pretty solid. And their Code Geass figures were a little bit lackluster in a lot of aspects.
And they did do that offshoot line.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, white one I traded you, Brandon, I actually have the pink version of it now. Yeah.
Pink one.
Yeah, that's like one of their special little things from the show. And I was like, hey! Ami pre-owned section.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of slightly customized by a different color or a small mod
Mm-hmm.
in that show.
Yeah.
On what show? Or?
Code Geass.
Oh, okay.
That is something. If you do like mech shows, I advise you getting into or watching. Anybody out there listening, or anyone here. It has more of a kind of like if you pushed new typeness a little bit further, like towards supernaturalness, it's a little bit closer to that. But the mechs in it, like they're not the central part of the story, but they're really cool. And yeah, it's once again Bandai Sunrise. I think in my mind, I kind of categorize it as their new push into something that could be Gundam one day, as long as they don't screw it up super hardcore, which I hope doesn't happen. Because they're pretty cool. They're a little bit more realistic in design too, which causes them to be kind of back heavy in some situations. But
well, doesn't the pilot sit in like a some kind of thing behind, like a pod behind the mech?
Most of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think almost all the time actually. Now that I look at them all, pretty much all the time, yeah. So I mean, they're realistically like between 17 and 20 feet tall, I think, if I'm correct, as opposed to a Gundam that's really, really tall. It's like the size of a building. So they're cool. They're kind of goofy in some aspects, but it's a pretty solid show. I like it. It's one of my favorite. But yeah, any other questions anyone has?
What's the meaning of life?
Well, the meaning of life is to buy nerdy stuff all of the time.
I'm there. I am a guru then.
We have found peace in life with nerdy Gundam and Star Trek and anime stuff. Good times. Good times. But everyone out there listening, look out for something to kind of coincide roughly in terms of if Build Fighters does end in 2 weeks, the next podcast, or maybe something kind of the rebirth of Lundo's Outpost possibly after I talk to some people about it, because I kind of haven't talked to anyone about it except for Brandon. To kind of coincide with the end of Build Fighters and kind of and MSI reviews, check both those channels out. If you like way too much content, feel free to look my channel up. Things go up most every day of the week, and it is kind of not good. Lot of reviews of a lot of different stuff, and stuff. I have stuff. There we go. If you guys like stuff, check out my channel. Shameless plug. But, is there anything anyone wants to say before we go ahead and close it out here today?
No, I think you summed it up.
Boom.
I think that's it.
I'm pretty good at my job. I like hearing myself talk, so I've gotten accustomed to it. Brandon, was there anything you wanted to say before we go ahead and...
Oh, that's it.
Alright. Well, thanks for everybody, or thanks to everybody for listening. Wait for next month's podcast. I assume it'll be out sometime next month. Hopefully. Hopefully we'll get it recorded in the beginning of the month, to, like I said, coincide with the ending of Build Fighters, since we're kind of 2 weeks out on that. But anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for continuing to listen to us ramble about dumb stuff consistently. And we'll talk to you later.